Welcome to the January meeting of Bridges and Tunnels. I am substituting for Alan today. Has to be one island person for another island person. It's automatic, somebody who goes over the bridge. In that regard, any bridge, that's right, we pick any bridge. Public comments, is there anyone who wants to make public comments? Murray, do you want to say something, or go right ahead?
My extensive prepared comments seem to be out of place this morning, so I'll just have to disperse with them. Beginning in January, I spent 24 hours in Washington at the meeting of the traffic engineers of the United States. I have a lot of friends there. I've been going to those meetings for about 20 years, and I wanted to get a sense of where the manual of uniform traffic control devices is going in the future. It was supposed to come out shortly. It's been pushed back into the far, far, far distant future. And the reason is it doesn't work and they can't figure out how to fix it. I met with virtually every significant traffic engineer in the United States in the lobby because I didn't want to go to meetings. There are a number of issues that can be resolved without changing the manual. New York City DOT is working on it, as is New York State DOT, New York State Thruway. I'd like to meet with someone from engineering, traffic engineering, to go over and find out which ways the bridges information, tolls, signs, lineage, can meet the current manual legally. This all has to be done in a way that creates no liability for any institution. That's uppermost in everybody's mind, that this needs to be done legally. I've met with the various legal departments, and they know where I'm going, and virtually everybody interested in this kind of thing is getting a blind copy of what I write. Virtually everything I do is on the record and must be 100% legal because of the future liability that this may entail. You may have noticed that some of the side guide signs have already been updated to give better information. And so I request the opportunity to meet with someone from Bridges and Tunnels to go over a plan, how to go forward and make the signs and the lines more readable and more user-friendly, especially for the fact that we're getting an enormous number of international travelers to the New York area. International travel has become an economic driver of this area. It needs to be accommodated correctly. Working with some of the people in Bridges and Tunnel has been excellent. Changes have been made to make the roads safer, more user-friendly. I can't mention their names, but they're quite good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the minutes. Since we do not have a quorum, we will go through the agenda, and obviously anything that will be presented to the board will be presented there directly. But we can do the minutes. Any changes? No changes? All in favor? Okay. We have the work plan on page 10. Are there any changes to the work plan?
There are no changes to the work plan.
Okay. So we can go right to operations on page 17.
Yeah. Before I hand it over to Jim Fortunato, I just want to take this opportunity to briefly update you on the weekend storm. Thanks to the truly extraordinary efforts of our maintenance and operations crews working around the clock starting Friday night, we were able to come through this historic storm in very good shape. We were helped enormously by the travel ban instituted by the governor and the mayor. As a result of that, we were able to stay ahead of the snow. And by the time the ban was lifted on Sunday morning, we were down to bare pavement at each facility, and all of our bridges and tunnels were safe for the traveling public. Just a couple of quick numbers. We used approximately 3,000 tons of de-icer over the weekend, and thanks to people staying home, We only had 4 authority-wide accidents and towed 15 disabled vehicles. Going forward, we may be entering into a lengthy freeze-thaw cycle, so we will, of course, be monitoring conditions closely and do all we can to ensure the safety of our customers and employees in the days ahead. And with that, I'll pass over to Jim, and just on Jim's behalf, he was all in this weekend. That was Pat Parisi to his right, doing a great job overseeing the entire operation.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Don, for your kind words. Good afternoon. The report on operations begins on page 17. Traffic was higher in November with 24.8 million crossings as compared with 23.4 million crossings in November of 2015. This represents a 6.0% increase. Average gas prices continued downward at $2.25 per gallon, which is 78 cents less than the same period last year. Rainfall amounts of 1.7 inches over 5 days during November 2015 versus 3.9 inches over 8 days in November of 2014. Easy Pass volume increased by 7.6% in November of 2015 as compared to November of 2014, while crossings using cash and other payment methods declined 3.2% for the month. Passenger car travel was up 6.1%, and other vehicle travel was up 4.2% from November of 2014. Preliminary monthly traffic figures for December 2015 are 4.9% more than the same period in 2014. Christmas holiday traffic, 12/24 to 12/26, was up 2.9% from 2014. This ends the report on operations. If there are no questions, we'll move on.
A quick question on the storm. Because the Port Authority and the mayor and the governor closed the GW Bridge and the Hudson tunnels, do you know if the Tappan Zee got, a large increase in vehicles? Because that was the only way to cross the river yesterday.
We don't have any
You wouldn't have any way to
information
know
on that
that,
right
huh?
now.
Oh, okay.
We can check that, though.
We could check into it.
Okay, next is safety report. Pashko?
Sure. Good afternoon. Our report on safety is illustrated on pages 31 and 32, in which you will see the charts and graphs showing the 5-year summary of employee accident reports, lost time injuries, customer collisions, and injury collisions, and lastly, contractor injuries. For the first 11 months of 2015, the employee accident reports have decreased by 19.5%, and the lost time injuries for the same period have also decreased by 28.8%. During the same reporting period, the total customer collision rate has increased by 4.5%, and the injury collision rate has slightly increased by 2.2%. Regarding the construction injuries, the report for this period shows an increase by 14 reported incidents. However, based on our preliminary information we have through the month of December, we believe that the injury rate for this year will be below the 5-year average, and the frequency rate will reflect a downward trend. Unless you have any questions or comments, this ends the report on safety and health. Thank you.
Any questions?
Thanks,
If
Pashko.
not, Easy Pass?
Begins on page 33. The highlights for the month, our market share was just under 86% in November, 1.4% higher than the year before. Almost 18,000 Easy Pass accounts were opened in November, including more than 9,000 on-the-go accounts, which was more than 50% of the total. And the in-lane sales continue to increase significantly. There were 683,000 on-the-go tags have been sold in the lane since the program began. We are every facility for the
Yeah.
second month in a row. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Amazing.
There's no questions on Easy Pass. I'll move on to the financial report on page 39. It's all good news. Toll revenue through November was more than $1.653 billion, which is $28.2 million, or 1.7% better than planned. Traffic is up 1.6% against the budget year to date, including 4% in November. Preliminary December is also looking good. Revenue up more than 7% against the budget, more than I think it's lower gas prices is driving it more than anything. You know, the weather is also was helpful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, the preliminary is for December, but November was pretty good weather also. So revenue was up more than 7% against the budget, more than 10 million, and traffic up about 1.7 million vehicles, 7% better than planned. Year to year, traffic is up about 6%, 1.4 million vehicles in November, 3.9% year to date, and that's, as we've been discussing, despite the toll increase in March. Preliminary December results look similar, up just under 5% from last year, and about 4% year to date. We expect
It would be March when we will see the effect of this storm Jonas on February.
that's correct. That is correct.
But next, at the
Well-
end of, at the next meeting, you will have,
Some preliminary numbers.
through December,
We'll have year-end numbers.
we'll have year-end numbers
Yes,
for 2015.
Correct, official year-end numbers.
Okay.
That's correct.
When you provide those, can you provide also, because you'll have a year-to-year
Yes, we will.
increase,
Yes.
of 15 to 14, we know that.
Absolutely.
unless-
Yes.
Okay,
Very
we know that.
significant, yeah.
Can you go back and give us like the last 10 years?
Absolutely.
What the over year-to-year has been?
Absolutely.
So we can compare 15
Puts it in
to- Put in
perspective.
perspective
Yeah.
as where the last time we hit those numbers were
Yeah,
on a
that's-
on a
yeah.
percentage basis.
Right.
Obviously,
Right.
gross numbers is one thing, but the percentage basis is the better way to look at it. If
That's
you
a-
could do that, that would be helpful.
Absolutely, it's a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
On the expense side, total expenses were about 391.5 million through November, which is about 11% lower than planned. Non-labor costs were 12.6% less than planned, about 23.5 million, due primarily to timing, and labor costs were lower as well, about 25.4 million, primarily due to payroll vacancies. Overtime down 14.8% against the plan, about 2.6 million through November. And our support to mass transit, we crossed the $1 billion threshold in November. It was 1.075 billion year-to-date through November, which is about 117 million, 11.5% better than planned.
It's amazing. Andrew and I have already spent the $117
Yeah.
million. We didn't tell Bob yet, but we spent it already in that regard. Okay.
If there's no questions on the financial report, further questions, we'll move on to the capital program.
Good afternoon. The report on the capital program begins on page 56. The report covers both activity for the month of December as well as results for 2015 as a whole. In December, there were 27 commitments made with a total value of 194.9 million. The most significant commitments made were for rehabilitation at the Marine Parkway Bridge, structural repairs at the Bronx-Whitestone Bridge, and Anchorage dehumidification and painting construction work at the Throgs Neck Bridge. In 2015 as a whole, B&T made 130 commitments with a total value of 526.5 million, or 127.5% of the approved plan of 412.9 million. The increase of 113.5 million above plan was primarily due to unplanned and accelerated commitments against the 2015 to 19 capital plan. In terms of completions, there were no completions planned or made in December. In 2015 as a whole, there were 11 project completions made with a total value of 214.8 million, or 103% of our planned 2015 completions, which called for 10 completions with a value of 208.5 million. In December, there were 6 task-level closeouts totaling 18.7 million. For 2015 as a whole, there were 77 task closeouts totaling 188.4 million. Unless there are any questions, that concludes the report.
Any questions? Nope.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
move on to procurements.
Good afternoon. Procurement started on page 70. There were 2 procurements this month. One is a non-competitive procurement for the award of a personal service contract to provide laboratory testing and associated analysis of a full-scale prototype orthotropic deck section in the negotiated amount of $3,358,517. The other is a discretionary competitive bid for a miscellaneous service for maintenance and repair of oil and water separators at our various facilities. in the low bid amount of $140,622. The value of both these procurements total $3,499,140. Unless there are any questions, these procurements are described in detail in the enclosed staff summaries.
When would you anticipate the entire Charles Neck Bridge project would be completed? This is just to put the orthographic deck on, correct?
This is for the testing
The testing.
of a panel.
How long a project is this entire?
Right now, we're planning to begin the actual construction of the deck in 2017. You probably won't see any actual roadway activity for, I'd say, at least the first 12 months. There's a lot of upfront development work, shop drawings and engineering and fabrication work that has to occur. So likely it would be well into 2018 before you would see any roadway activity related to the project. The project will probably be, I have to just verify this, but it'll probably be in the 3-year range. Roughly, it's a staged construction effort.
And it'll be done one direction, then the other direction, I assume, or both directions at once with reduced lanes, or?
Probably very similar to what you're seeing at the Verrazano Bridge right now, with staged construction as they work their way across the roadway and, traffic management techniques. We're probably looking at the movable barrier system and some other techniques to make sure that customer service is
Will
is,
drivers be
maintained.
advised to use the Whitestone Bridge during this period, or?
Yeah, typically during construction on either of the bridges, as you know, we advise customers to use the alternative possible, and, we usually have a pretty proactive campaign of advisory messages and putting out the word to all our customers to divert if possible.
Thanks.
When was the last time we did Throgs Neck?
We haven't, apart from the paving work we've done with the binder on
Right.
weekends, and, years ago, we used to do 2-week periods where we would shut one lane down to do the binder. We haven't really done this kind of major roadway construction on the Throgs Neck, other than in the late 2000s, we did the approaches from the Clearview and
the Cross
and
Bay.
the Cross Island.
Cross Island, yeah,
And
I remember that.
that work was done on the approach concrete structure. Before that, you'd have to go back to the 80s when we actually put in orthotropic deck on the
So it's
approaches.
been about 30 years since we've done it. Yeah.
Actually, this deck, the suspended span deck, is the original deck from the 1961.
Oh, okay.
So
it's time.
It's time.
It's
yeah.
time.
It's time.
No, but I mean, that helps in our customers understanding it,
Absolutely.
that, it's been 50, whatever it is,
Absolutely.
years since we've done it. It's not like we're doing it every 5 years. It's been a long time since we've done it, and as a result of that, it needs to be done, and we hope people understand the inconvenience and while we're doing it, but once we get it done, we hope it lasts another 50 years in that context.
Right, I mean, what we're seeing now is the facilities built in the 30s are finishing up in terms of the deck work, and now we're starting the ones built in the 60s, and especially the Throgs Neck and the Verrazano.
Verrazano, yeah.
Is
Okay.
the way we're doing it now made to last longer than the last time we did it? Are the materials that much
Yeah.
more resistant to the weather and everything? Or?
Yeah, the design life, as it's called, which is sort of the target performance of durability, is at least 75 years for this kind of a deck. So we're definitely aiming to build for the long term.
And we're not building a new bridge like the Tappan Zee is. We just fix what we have in that context. Okay. Well, since we do not have a quorum, we're going to report, Andrew, these procurements directly to the board for review on Wednesday, and I will obviously indicate that those of us who were here voted in favor, but since
Well,
we did not have a quorum. we'll
These
go for
these will not come up at finance?
that. I don't believe so.
One, I think one. of
One
them-
might.
one-
One of them, then it'll come up this afternoon. Okay. Okay. With that, anything else?
Nope, concludes
If
the
not,
agenda.
okay. Motion to adjourn. Thank you all very much.